Hi and welcome to my channel. Now today's video is on this Trio KA-1200 amplifier, or 1200B actually. This is the black version, Insta-B, but they did do a 1200 silver version, and that'll be just a KA-1200. Now this came out about 1975-76, somewhere around there, and would have cost you about £50 back then, and that's identically to what I paid for it today. What I say today, a little while ago, a little HiFi shop I pop in every now and again in Portsmouth, and I pop in there, and he usually does me a few deals, etc. I bought 3 items off of him then, had it up for 60, got £10 off, but I expect that's around about what you're going to pay for it, £50 or £60 here in the UK at the moment, somewhere around there. I would have thought I wouldn't have paid much more than that for it, you know, maybe tops 80 quid, something like that. That's about the bracket it's going to be in, I think. This is just 13 watts a channel, so not a very powerful amplifier. We're going to have a little look at the actual amplifier itself. There's the front, and then you've got your power, your speakers. A and B does 2 sets of speakers. You've got your bass, treble, loudness, your input select there, your main volume. Towards the end you've got your balance, and you've got your tape for playing, and the source on your tape for playing the source, and playing the tape and selecting source, and you've got your mono stereo button there, as well as your headphones. So we just look around the back very quickly. There's all the connections around the back there, as I said before, 2 sets of speakers, and they've got the screw terminals. Not a great fan of screw terminal connections on the speakers. Always find the wires start spreading apart, and it can be awkward getting a good tight fit, and you've got to be careful that one side doesn't short out onto the other. But there you go, that's the connections around the back. I'm going to have a little look inside. So if I take the lid off there, it's got not quite a nice little veneer lid as it happens. Have a look inside, and there you can see inside it's quite neatly laid out inside, and there's actually 4 main boards in there, one with the power supply there, one with the tone control there, one with the little phono amp there for your record player input, and the main amplifier there. So it's all done quite nice and neatly inside, but as you can see, these are quite old, these amplifiers now, and they look a little bit tired, just a little bit tired inside now maybe, but there you go, that's what this amplifier looks like. So how does it sound? Okay, just before I go on to the sound, I just want to say obviously this is quite old now, and the sound can change slightly amplifier to amplifier in this particular model. Obviously some of the parts may be a little bit more in line with where they should be tolerance wise, specification wise, so I'm only going by the amplifier, and amplifiers I've had in the past. It's only the amplifier I've got in front of me that I can actually test, so it may vary a little bit. So where I'm saying this is, you know, brilliant or something like that, one of your amplifiers may not be so good. Just bear in mind there's going to be some slight tolerances there, so I just wanted to mention that because I do forget to mention that. Okay, sound wise, normal kind of scenario. If you follow the channel, you know I'll pair them up for a few different pairs of speakers, move them about a bit, etc. A few different sources, all that kind of stuff. And like I say, you paid £50, you're going to pay £50 to £80. I thought this amplifier sounded quite nice as it happens. It's a quite pleasant, sweet sounding amplifier, an amplifier that you could listen to for a long time. It's not going to get fatiguing at all, this amplifier. If we talk about the bass is a little bit woolly, you could say a little bit woolly, but nothing too much, just, you know, just a tad maybe on the woolly side compared to other amplifiers. Just hasn't got that final grunt. It just could be just a little bit tighter, I thought, on the particular model I've got here. Like I say, and don't forget it's only 13 watts, but I've got other amplifiers that are around about that, just give it a little bit more grunt, a little bit more thud, a little bit more control of that bass. But this doesn't do a bad job at all, so that's quite pleasing. You know, there's nothing wrong there at all really. The mids are quite nice, the vocals, etc. They're all quite, just quickly going back to that bass, it goes through the notes, and it's not a one-noted bass, it's got some definition there. Like I say, just a little bit on the woody side. The mids there, you know, they're quite nice, the vocals are nice, the male vocals, and it handles all the sibilants really nicely as it happens. I didn't hear any sibilants at all, this amplifier. It handled the voices really nice, just giving that kind of sweet kind of sounding, that pleasant sounding. This is quite a polite amplifier, it gives quite a polite sound, doesn't do anything harsh, doesn't do anything out of the extraordinary, keeps everything nice and safe, keeps it all nice and controlled. It just gives that nice, like I say, pleasant sweetness kind of sound right the way throughout the signature sound of this amplifier. So the vocals sound nice, the trumpets, the sax, the piano all sound nice. Never really like, not a lot of attack to it, shall we say, when it's suddenly something fast or something really like, suddenly, you know, it's a really slow passage and boom, something loud's going to come in. It doesn't really like deliver that like some other amplifiers do. It does a bit of a laid back approach to that, shall we say. Hasn't got that attack, but it's okay, you know, it's quite nice. Like I say, this is a pleasant all day, you can listen to this all day. It's a nice sounding little amplifier, it really is. The top end's nice, got quite a bit of detail to the top end, goes quite high as well, the top end. Not rolled off at all, it sounds quite nice, the top end got a reasonable amount of detail, and again was really nice and pleasant, and picked out the brushes and shimmering, all that kind of stuff, picked them out quite nicely and done a really good job, I think. So yeah, all in all, I quite liked it. It's got, you know, if anything let it down, maybe like I say, just lacks that a little bit of attack, and maybe that bass is just a little bit woolly, you know, in places, not on everything, but in places on some tracks, etc. So that will be maybe the two downfalls on it. Other than that, it sounded really nice, and the phono stage, it's like a little phono stage there, 2 transistors per channel. That sounded nice and sweet. You know, it brings out the detail. It can retrieve the detail off your vinyl and that. So that done a good job as well. All in all, yeah, definitely recommended if you're going to go out and look for this. And you know, like I say, keep the budget realistic. Don't go mad, because obviously if you're going to spend more money, there's better amplifiers out there. But if you're spending between £50 and £80, something like that, I think you're going to get yourself quite a nice little amplifier. Only trouble, again, you know, I keep forgetting to stress this on throughout the channel, is when you buy something vintage, then obviously things can go wrong, like, you know, when they are getting old. So just bear that in mind. If you're buying anything, this amplifier, any amplifier there, keep it realistic, money-wise, what you're going to spend on it, and always think that maybe later on there may be needed some repairs, etc. So bring that into account, what that's going to cost you maybe. If you went out instead and bought a brand new amplifier or a newish amplifier, something that's just a few years old, they're probably going to last longer maybe. It's always questionable, because some of the stuff these days is made quite cheap, and this is quite nicely made. But you know, I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well. So don't go overboard and start bidding and paying too much for some of these units, and just make sure when you get them you give them a good test as well. A nice little test is just to turn everything off, really. You know, turn it on, but turn all the volume down and everything, and just get a pair of headphones. Not always easy to hear with a pair of speakers. Put a pair of headphones on, see if you can hear any crackling or anything happening when it's on silent, you know, when it's dead silent, because if you've got a noisy transistor or something like that, it will pop up being a bit noisy. And you can always turn the volume up just a little bit with no source going in, just put it on auxiliary or something like that and just listen. Obviously if you put it on phone or something like that and you've got a lead plugged in, you may hear a little bit of humming. That's to be expected, especially when you turn the volume full on. But just listen out for that when buying something, especially like when you first got it, because that's the time you can send it back and get it replaced, or money back or something like that. Just may save you some aggro later on, because once you start getting a noisy transistor or something like that, a little way down the line they get a little bit noisier maybe, and they're going to start aggravating you just a little bit more. When you first get it, you may think I'll put up with that, but later on down the line it may start getting louder. That's it. As normal, shall I say, I'll rattle on a bit too much. But there you go. This is the Kenwood KA-1200B for black. Do a silver one. And yeah, I'll definitely recommend it if you're looking out for one.